Hey everyone, this is Dawn. Welcome back to my channel. Today I will be continuing my Alaska cruise album with another layout, and I'm going to use two collections, Peaceful Garden along with Nature Walk, and then a few of the bits and pieces from the Exploring Nature Scrapbook Kit. And all of these products are currently available, so I will list them in the description below. So the pictures I'm going to scrapbook are from Ketchikan. It was our first stop, and I'm going to stretch this into a 2 or 3 page layout because I took lots of pictures. So this portion of our day in Ketchikan, we went to the Totem Heritage Center and learned all about the totems up there in Ketchikan. And so I have a few pictures, and I'm going to document them. Okay, so I'm going to start with these two pieces that are from Peaceful Garden, and then I have two more, and I'm going to go ahead and trim those down, and they will be base for my pictures, kind of doing a grid style, kind of sort of. So I'm going to cut off 2 inches and then trim this one down to 6 inches. And then it'll continue through to the other side, which will be 10 by 12. So we'll go ahead and cut off 2 inches off of this one, and that will be on the right page. So I'm going to keep this layout rather clean and simple. I want to use the 4 by 6 pictures. I did reprint a couple of them to 3 by 4. We went on this trip in 2009, and I printed a whole bunch in 4 by 6, and now I'm getting around to scrapbooking them, and so I've decided that with a few of them, I'm trying to use as many of the ones that I already printed, but yeah, I'm seeing that a few of them I want in smaller sizes. So with the Epson PM400, you can do that on demand and get smaller pictures. Okay, so these two pieces are also from Peaceful Garden, and I've cut them down to 3.5 inches, and we'll just go from side to side with those. And then this one is from Nature Walk, so I'm going to cut a few strips. So we'll start with one that's 1 inch, and then later on off camera, I'll cut another piece at 1/2 inch. So we'll go ahead and trim this up. I'm looking at the design and what portion of it I'm going to be trimming off, because eventually that will be trimmed down to 10 inches. Okay, so let's get our pictures on here and see what they look like. I like to do this several times while creating a layout just to make sure I'm on the right track. So I'm looking at these and thinking, not quite sure. And I want those set up on that page like that, but I'm looking at the pictures, and the one with the green in it, it has more visual weight to it. When you look at a picture or anything, colors that are darker have more visual weight, and so if you put them towards the bottom, that makes sense. Okay, so this is Gears and Textures, and I've got some of the metallic texture paper in gold. And off camera, I cut this chain image from the dies from Gears and Textures, and I'm going to use it as a border. The sign for the totem center is in gold, so I'm carrying that over from the picture. And I'm going to use these as borders along that green paper. Okay, now I need to matte my pictures. I'm bringing in some early espresso, deciding if I want the dark side or the light side, and I like the dark side, and then I'll matte those with white first. Okay, so I've got my borders here, and I've glued down those gold chains onto the green, so they're easier to work with, and I've trimmed them to 10 inches so they can go along the sides of my pictures, and that will slide under like that. So I'm still looking at that lighter color of crumb cake or basic beige that's underneath my pictures, and it's bothering me. So I went and cut another piece from the Nature Walk collection. This is in the Night of Navy pattern paper. And I like that because there's blue in the totem and my husband's wearing blue and it makes the pictures pop better. I like that. That works better. Sometimes you don't know until you see it and you put it all together and figure out something else. Okay, so this stamp set is called Weekend Adventures, and I'm going to take my title from this set, and it says things to do, places to see. So I'm going to stamp directly onto my background patterned paper using this stamp. And I'm going to bring in the Stampin' Positioner. This will be available with the new May catalog starting May 6th, so you can get your own. And I have added a sticky mat to it. I'll put a link in the description below. It's inexpensive and I got it from Amazon. It looks like a giant stamp and it makes it easier to use any type of positioner because your paper will stick to it and then it won't shift around and you won't have to mess with the magnets. But this positioner is great because you can stamp on any size of paper because it can hang off the edges. And when you stamp, you won't be pressing any kind of folds or marks into it because it hangs off the flat edge. Okay, so I'm inking up my stamp using Night of Navy. I've positioned it where I want it to be, and then I picked it up with the positioner and with the top plate of the positioner, and then I'm going to go ahead and press down with my inked up stamp, and it's beautiful. Okay, so with this stamp set, there's this tiny little stamp that has these little marks on it, and I like to use it around this particular stamp title because it kind of emphasizes and places to see in that title. So I'm going to go ahead and add these little marks. And I'm standing up so that I can get over the image to make sure I'm doing it where I want it to be. And then we'll go ahead and do it on the left side. And sometimes with these tiny stamps and small blocks, you don't quite get all of it inked up or the image doesn't transfer. So because it's clear, you can put it back and fix it. Okay, so this is Nested Essentials, and I'm going to create my journal block from another piece of the Peaceful Garden pattern paper. I'm just moving my pictures out of the way so that I can bring in my stamp positioner again and add some lines. So this set, it's from an older set called Love This Moment, but it's got some nice lines on it so that I can create and complete my journal block here. So I'm going to place the stamp down on this die cut piece. Now I don't want, it looks like a piece of notebook paper, and I don't want that line going above right there. So I'm going to block it off with a sticky note so I can mask it, and then it won't stamp onto this piece. It's not a big deal. You can leave it the way it is. I just prefer to not have that extra line there. So I'll go ahead and pick up the stamp with my positioner, and then we'll ink it up and create a journal block with lines. And then off camera, I'll go ahead and do my journaling. So let's go ahead and stamp this out. And that sticky note blocks that little bit of inked up stamp. And there we go. Now we have a journal block. Okay. That is ready to go. And now I've done all my journaling, and that can sit between the pictures there. Okay, so from the sticker sheet, I got this tab, and I just wrote down the date that we were in Ketchikan. And now the fun part, we can start embellishing. So this is the Exploring Nature Scrapbook Kit. So with it comes a lot of die cuts to use on the scrapbook layouts, but I like to use the die cuts on all kinds of different things and not necessarily for the layouts that the scrapbook kit creates. So I like these mountains and I want to use them on this layout. So I popped them out, they're good to go. And then I pulled another piece of the Peaceful Garden paper to create a banner so that I can put my mountains on the banner and they won't disappear into that blue strip of background paper. So we'll kind of figure things out here. And I'm going to create a little cluster. And now we need some trees, right? So I've got this set. It's called Scenic Adventure, and there are dies that cut out some trees. So I cut out a bunch in Mossy Meadow and Old Olive off camera. So I have a whole bunch of these to work with. So we're just going to cluster some of these trees over on the left side. And then we'll create another cluster over on the right. So they will live somewhere around there. Okay, and then from the sticker sheet, I pulled this strip, border strip, and I'm going to place that underneath my banner. Just to add a little pop of extra color, make it look a little bit more interesting. So you got it on the left side, got to have one on the right. So we'll put that there. And make sure it's straight. And I just eyeball it, but I want to make sure I've got the same amount of blue below it as on the left page. And then from the sticker sheet, I'm going to pull this round sticker that also has a mountain scene. So it kind of reflects the left page. And this little tool, it's from close to my heart. It's a little sticker picker-upper. There's a spatula that's on the tool that comes from Stampin' Up, so you can use it to do the same thing and just slide it under and pick up part of your sticker so you can slide the other one underneath. And then I'm going to cluster some more of these trees around that sticker. And just kind of altering the colors with the two large trees and two different colors on each side. And then this is called Swirled Designs, and I pulled some more of that foil paper that I cut the chains from, and I cut some of these circles in swirls just for an added little extra pop of shine, and I'm going to add it on both sides just to make those clusters look a little bit more interesting. And always add a little more bling and shine, right? Okay, these are the textured dots, and it's only because I was at a retreat when I made this layout, and I forgot the hexagons or pentagons that are in the bronze metallic that are actually part of this Nature Walk collection. So I'm using those in lieu of the pentagons, but I'll put a link for those in the description below. So I've got some clusters of those scattered all around. And then I decided I wanted one more sticker. So I'm going to bring that in and I'm going to put that below that large totem picture. And then I'll add a couple more of the dots. So I'll have close-up shots of this layout over on my socials. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook, and the URLs are at the bottom of your screen, and I'll put links in the description below. Just hit the More button, and you'll be able to find all kinds of information. And then off camera, I decided to ink around the edges with some Night of Navy of the whole layout to make it pop a little bit more. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. I'd sure appreciate it. And thanks for watching.